That's nice. Um, I just spoke in front of like 200 people on Saturday, and I wasn't nervous, but I don't know why I'm nervous here. This is a little more intimate setting now. Uh, but my name is Mascot Wande. I live in Houston, and I was just telling some of the guys my story of how I got started in land. So before I dive into branding, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a network security engineer for like forever, just like other Indian people, right? And I reached the top tier, and I was no more moving up. Year after year, my employers, they made like 14 billion every year, and we got 2% raises. And 2% raises meant like a couple of extra $1,000, $4,000 in a year more. Just wasn't cutting it. And so a good friend of mine gave me a land lead in Ocala, Florida. Who has heard of Ocala, Florida? One, two, three, four, five, six. I hadn't heard of Ocala, Florida. Matter of fact, this land parcel was in Oklawaha, which is even a little bit more remote. But the seller was motivated, and I was just learning about land. And this gentleman, his name's Yasser Livingston, great guy. He said, "Hey, there might be something here if you want to try to buy this parcel." And he went after it like the traditional route: make an offer, no offer, buy it, resell it, make some money. So I did my diligence. The lot was worth about $13,000, and I made an offer at $4,000, fully expecting the man was going to decline. He's going to say, "Are you buying? This is worth $13,000." Well, he accepted. He was in some weird situation, some circumstance in his life. And I gladly paid him $4,000, close to a title company, got title insurance to make sure that I'm not getting a bad deal, something that has multiple heirs coming out of the woodworks, clouded title. I paid like $500 or $600 on closing costs, getting the deed filed, etc. And then I started looking for a buyer, and I couldn't find a buyer. I didn't know what to do. So 3 or 4 months went by, and I posted that land parcel on landsofamerica.com, and all of a sudden, a buyer popped up. I listed it for $9,000, thinking somebody was going to see the value. Market value is $13K. He's selling it for $9,000. What a deal, right? Well, he offers me $8,000, and he said, "I'll pay you $8,000 cash right now. I'll wire it to you. That's my final offer." I said, "Wire it." So he sent me $8,000. I did my own tabletop closing. I got a notary to go out, and we drafted all the paperwork, a special warranty deed. Sure enough, the guy sent me $8,600, and I just made $4,000. And I was like, "This is amazing." So you can spend $4,000 and make $4,000. Brad wins on his land deals, and he makes he would lend 400,000 and make maybe 40,000, maybe 50, maybe 100. But imagine if you could make $400,000 on a $400,000 investment. So land got me hooked. I was like, "This is amazing. I can do a lot more of it." So I was an engineer by background. I just built more tools. We use Go High Level. I think Brian was talking about Go High Level. We used Go High Level. We integrated Twilio. We were texting like crazy. And we started locking up so much land. And I just like to stick with one thing until I've like mastered it. A lot of people here are doing a lot of different projects. Some people are opening up coffee shops, also running land business, real estate businesses. I like to stick with what I think I can make money on, what I can like reverse engineer. So I reverse engineered the crap out of InfoLocks. My very first intentional deal was we let our machine start generating leads in about October 2021. And by November 26th or 25th, right a couple of days before Thanksgiving, we locked up our first deal. It was a luxury infill lot I think it was in Fountain Hills, Arizona, which is like a suburb of Scottsdale, Phoenix area. We locked it for like $115,000, and I had a builder ready to buy it for $131,000. They just had run out of their budget for the year, So they said, if you can allow us to pay until the first week of next year, we'll close on it. Well, they closed on it. We made $16,000 on our very first intentional land deal. And that was it. I was like, okay, I made $4,000 on accident. I made $16,000 on not an accident, intentionally. So we just started doing infill lots just 20 times over. First quarter, really well. We probably did, I don't know, we probably did 10, 15 deals in the first quarter of 2022. But 2022 was a different market also. COVID hadn't caught on quite yet. It was starting to show up, but the market was the best it had ever been. You could throw a rock and hit some money. So we took advantage of that. We just 10x'd everything. We were texting 10 to 20,000 people every month, automatic follow-ups happening. Land business was probably the best thing that ever happened. By April, I had quit my job and did this full time. But I wasn't doing it the way I'm doing it now because I was just another land wholesaler. And if you are to really do this big, and you want to treat this as a big business, something that you can exit out of someday, you need to have a proper business, a proper brand. You need to have books. You need to have a business plan, infrastructure. So that's when I set out, about 12 months ago, I set out to build all that for myself. So my presentation today is called The Orange Car. And it's called The Orange Car because I read a book called The Purple Cow. Anybody read Purple Cow? He's read The Purple Cow. Purple Cow is about making your marketing stand out. I mean, you don't see any purple cows out there, but if you saw one, you'd probably remember it, right? But you see orange cars, and you probably take a second look, because they're usually Lamborghinis or Corvettes or something along those lines. There's hardly any Nissan Altimas in orange out there, right? No offense to Nissan Altima owners. But you remember what stands out. So I set out to build something along those lines. I don't have an orange car. It's just a concept. But I do have orange in all of my branding. So why does branding and marketing matter? Does everybody who is functionally doing land here have a brand already? Do you guys believe that your land business is actually branded properly? Will people remember your land company's name after they talk to you? Probably not. What do you guys see wrong here? What do you think the problem is?
Generic.
It's all the same. Every household seller, no offense to household sellers, has the same exact business name and branding and message. I buy houses cash. Do they really buy houses cash? No, they wholesale them. They don't even buy them. Brad buys them because he pays them the money to buy those houses if they even end up closing on them. Nobody here buys houses. And I mean this with the utmost respect. I don't know whose branch these are. Please don't sue me. I'm just using your example so you can have better marketing in your business too. These guys are all local Dallas, Arlington home buyers. But I guarantee you, when you leave, you're not going to remember a single name. All you're going to remember is, I buy houses cash. And that can be anybody. So now, do you know if your brand stands out? If you have a land business, you have a land brand, ask yourself that question. Is my land brand something, if I speak to a developer, if I call a builder and I tell them I can sell you some land, I can find you some land, are they going to remember you, your company, your brand, your website, your phone number? Are you memorable? Do you stand out? Are you unique? Are you loud? Are you proud? Everybody knows that brand, right? Nice one. I know you can read one of the languages, so you don't say it, but everybody knows this brand just by looking at it, right? Coca-Cola. One's in Hebrew, one's in Thai, one's in Hindi in the middle. But their branding is so unique, amazing, consistent, and omnipresent that you can be in another country. You travel a lot. You'll know exactly when they're selling a Coke, even if you don't know it, if you can't read that language, right? This is McDonald's somewhere in the Middle East. I just said McDonald's in Arabic. This popped up. I'm definitely going to eat there because I know the food. It's consistent. You trust it. Heck, $8 for a cup of coffee now, but we still buy it. Why? Because it's always the same. You never go wrong. I mean, I love the coffee here, but I wasn't sure what I was going to get until I tasted it. Over here, a white chocolate mocha is always the same white chocolate mocha. Consistency. So what does a brand do for you? Gives you instant recognizability, consistency and quality, and then reputation and credibility. So if you're starting a land business or have a land business and you want your business to have these characteristics, you got to work on that brand. Guys, this is my brand. It's called Builders Land Source. Can you tell me by looking at this, if you didn't know I sold land and I said this was my company, and this happened to me earlier when I was filling gas, could you tell me would you be able to tell what I did? Would you be able to tell who I do this for? So this is how my brand was born. I wanted recognizability. So I wanted this brand to stand out. I wanted the font to look different. I wanted the colors to pop. I want the design to be something that people could see and say, I have not seen another land company that looks like this. This is not your average I buy homes, I buy houses cash company. I wanted a clear message. Who do I serve? I serve builders. What do? I sell land. And how? I source it for them. I acquire land. I'm an independent land acquisition company for many builders now. And that didn't happen until this brand was born. Before that, I was an average, just another land wholesaler, flipper, buyer. This brand changed a lot of things for me. My messaging is clear, it is unique, it is creative, and there was no AI used in this. This was an epiphany I had someday. I was driving. I said, I want builders to know when I make that phone call, I want them to remember who they just talked to. And my name's not easy to say, and it's even harder to remember. You'll meet me, I'll shake your hand, I'll tell you my name's Bhaskar Pandey. You'll probably not remember it, you won't know how to spell it. But if I told you I own Builders Land Source, you'd probably remember my company name. Now, your brand is your biggest asset. I have everything badged up. Even my shoes are my brand colors. I have my shoes on the slide for a reason. We have hats. It's in my car. I forgot. That's my car standing outside. I was getting gas earlier. And the gentleman comes up and he says, what do? He's looking for some land north of here. He drove in from Oklahoma with his wife. And I gave him my card, which looks exactly like this, orange, black, and white. And I made a new client, a potential buyer looking for some acreage. All because my branding was so specific and it was out there. So your branding is not just a logo. It's your reputation, it's your messaging, and your credibility. And this can be the difference between a brand people know of, remember, trust, and just another land investor wholesaler. And I say this especially because if you want explosive growth in your business like I've seen, you need to do this, exactly this. And you got to be ready to handle that growth too, right? If you're doing really well, like some of the investors here, and you have your own formula, you rinse and repeat, and you're prepared to, your bandwidth allows you to do that type of business, that much business, great. If you're hungry for more, get yourself this brand, any brand, the right brand, and you'll see what it does for you. Your brand will lead directly to dollars. I had an event this past weekend, this past Saturday in Houston. How many here have been able to get a hold of builders easily on the phone? Has anybody tried calling builders? Anybody tried selling their land to builders or developers? Nobody? He has. Was it easy? It's not. They don't want to talk to another land wholesaler. They get hundreds, maybe thousands of phone calls every day, right? I have builders coming to me asking if we could provide land for them. That's what this brand has done for us. And I'll show you how. So this is what I did, some of what I did to make my brand my identity. You gotta decide on a logo. You got to decide on the right font. You got to have your brand colors. Get a domain. Get your website built. Get professional emails. If you're doing business with john@gmail.com or hotmail.com, you think they're going to take you seriously? You want to go in front of a hedge fund and say, hey, I've got land deals for you. I've got 63 acres. I want to sell this to you. And my email says something93@gmail.com. They're not going to take you seriously. But if your business says sales@builderslandsource.com or info@builderslandsource.com, there's a better chance of them taking your email seriously because it stands out. It looks professional. We've seen a lot higher response rate, a lot more. We've been taken a lot more seriously since our brand was born. Get yourself a Google My Business, or it's now just called Google Business, because that is key. I'm going to give you some examples here in a minute, but I have 55 or something like that, 5-star reviews from JV partners, from people whose land we've bought and sold to builders, from builders themselves, from people who bought from me and buyers, because we just provided exceptional service from start to finish. And those reviews, it's like a gift that keeps on giving. You do well, you get a good review. And that review works for you in the future because now they see you have 5-star reviews, people are talking about you, and it's all genuine reviews. We haven't bought, if I would have probably bought hundreds of them, right? I only have 55. That's because I asked for reviews from people who actually got value from us, whether it was in education, in business, in partnership. So I might ask you guys for a review at the end of this. So hopefully you guys can leave me a review too. And if you don't want to leave me a 5-star review, come talk to me first. Maybe I can make that right. Setting up your social media. So we didn't really quite use social media too much. I'm starting to grow mine now. All we used social media for was to sell properties. And we would put our properties in front of a lot of different people through social media. And it worked fairly well. But now that we're starting to intentionally grow our businesses pages, Facebook page, Instagram, we even have a TikTok. We don't really post anything on TikTok. Some land investors are doing really well on TikTok too. I know some guy, he's got some sponsorships from Land ID, PropStream, and a bunch of other companies because his TikTok's so powerful, popular, and he talks a lot about land. They have given him not only free accounts for everything, I think Land Vision, which is now called, what is Land Vision called now? Anybody use Land Vision here? Whatever it is, it's a very expensive piece of software. Costs like 10 to 20 grand a year. Somebody gave him a free account because his TikTok talks about land so much and has a great following. So he's getting some of the best software out there for data, for diligence, really given to him for free. Have your LLC set up right. I'm going to tell you something. My LLC is not called Builders Land Source. I wasn't always looking to sell land. Like everybody else who starts wholesaling, I wanted to wholesale houses. And it was horrible. Man, the showings, the dealing with the people that lived there, it was just a nightmare. I did not like it. I did wholesale a few homes. I did not enjoy it. But my LLC was called something along the lines of, we buy houses. But not exactly that, but it was something along, if I told you the name, you'd say, oh yeah, you probably work with houses. But then I got myself a DBA, it says Builders Land Source. So it's actually registered. Those are my business cards. I passed a few around. Those are my business cards. I have a QR code that takes them to my website where we have links and forms for taking leads for everything. All of my team members, they wear company badged shirts because we've reached a level now where builders, developers, realtors, buyers, sellers are coming into our office wanting to talk to us, to sign paperwork, to negotiate. And nobody in the company comes dressed in just like, it's like an average Wednesday lounging. Everybody's dressed in company colors, badges. We've got mugs, tumblers, hats. When title companies close our deals, we give them our tumblers so they remember who we are and they think of us when the deal falls through. Oh, I know somebody that buys land or has buyers for your land, and they refer those deals to us. One more thing I was thinking about, I forgot, was your email signature. It's also very, very important for your email signature to capture all your information that might be useful for people. Don't just use a picture that has your information. Make sure it's searchable. Make sure your number is searchable, your email is in text, your name, your designation, your company name, et cetera, et cetera. Because ultimately, your brand's going to be your identity. You want 360 degrees of exposure. And that exposure doesn't just come from you posting on social media. Business cards, we're starting to send flyers out as cold marketing to builders. Builders that don't answer our phones, we've printed color flyers about who we are, what we do, and we put them in the mail to builders. Who knows? They might call us from one of those. I have huge banners, those retractable banners that are 7 or 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide, that talks about who we are, what my company does, has the QR codes. So when I go to events that I sponsor or I host, I have my badging and banners everywhere. Brad was at my event. Logan was at my event this last Saturday. And my entire backdrop was nothing but my brands. Texas Land Exchange, Builders Land Source, and it had QR codes for everything we do or provide. So make sure your brand has unified or unity in everything you do. The fonts, the colors, the sizes all remain the same. And you want to be everywhere. You want to be there all the time. Marketing isn't just about texting, cold calling. We're sponsoring events now, and that brings us lots of deals. It brings us partnerships. God willing, we have this big meeting coming in 2 weeks with a massive buyer. This private equity firm saw our brand. Somebody told them about us first. They saw our brand. They interviewed me before they could even set up a meeting. I passed. And they want to now sit down with me and my teammates. So now we can potentially just start putting massive deals their way. And ultimately, a clear message. Now, I was talking about your website and your Google business page. Let me give you an example. When we were starting to do some deals, and we weren't doing high volume deals, we were doing pretty decent. We were doing like 5 to 6 deals a month, 17 to 20, sometimes 30K in margin on each of those deals. We would come across something that Brad touched on. Every seller has a cousin or an uncle or a nephew that is a realtor who does not want to see them win. They just think that every land buyer, wholesaler is out to take advantage of them, which is not the case. We're extremely transparent from the jump. We called a seller in Arizona, and the seller says, well, I don't know. My nephew is a realtor, or my niece is a realtor. Deal with her. This was an off-market transaction. We had no intentions of paying a realtor. Not that we wouldn't or cannot, and we haven't. We always take care of everybody that makes the deal happen. But we just didn't want one more party in the transaction. Well, we called the realtor on a separate occasion because I just want to make sure they understood who we were, what we did, and that we weren't there to take advantage of their client or family member. The realtor says, I know who you are. I looked at your website. I looked at your Google page, and go ahead and send us a contract. So we bagged the deal simply because our website clearly defined who we are, and we never told them we buy houses or we buy cash. Every time we have a conversation with a seller, we let them know, I'm acting as an acquisition company on behalf of builders and developers. Eventually, they're the ones who are going to fund your deal. And my commission comes from their end. As long as we agree on price, as long as I perform diligence on your parcel and it checks out, I'm going to get it sold. And I'm here to provide a service. I know it's a gray area technically. I'm not even selling anything. I'm not even buying anything. So maybe I can get away with continuing to text these people and cold call these people and say, screw A2P 10 DLCs, all these heavy restrictions. But I don't want to take that chance. We're working within the framework that's been provided to us. Somebody else, more aggressive, would have said, F it, let's go call these people. We're not technically buying or selling anything. So my website has helped me close deals. My website also generates a lot of buyer and seller leads on autopilot. That was the main theme I want to talk to you about. Our website has forms for pretty much any type of client that can visit the website. If a landowner looking to sell their land comes to my website, we have a forum for them. We have it on the front page. There's a button, big. Guess the color of the button. Orange. It's a big orange button that says, "Want to sell your land?" If a land buyer that wants a custom home built for themselves, we have a button for that too. Looking for a lot for your custom home build? Click here. If a builder comes to our site, we say, join our builder network. And makes them think they're joining this big network. All they're doing is giving me all their buying criteria, which we then follow up with a phone call and an email. And we start sending properties that might fit. We have an inventory website as well, which is very separate from my main branding of this business. And that's done intentionally as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then social media slowly, like I'm trying to grow my social media. I would love it if you could follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and especially if you think my presentation is helpful, please leave me a Google review. I know you probably can't see the QR code here. I'll try to make it uh, brighter and in focus afterwards. But I would love for you guys to leave me a review, and I would do the same. Um, but your social media, your Google business, your testimonials, your case studies are all going to help people trust you more, bring legitimacy to what you do. Um, I'm very transparent in everything I do. I get a lot of people come to me before they even have heard of me. They see my posts. They've come to my event and said, your story resonated with me so much. I wanted to come see you and meet with you in person because I'm not there. I've only been doing this really full time contiguously for 2 years, even though I've been in the business for 3 years. We had a baby and we took a whole year off just to enjoy being parents. But in the 2 years, because of this branding and very intentional action taking, we've built a substantial machine, business, revenue, team. We just recently moved in. This last Thanksgiving, we moved into a new office, which is, nicer than the office I've ever been in. Because my first office was a casita behind my house, where I would get locked in for like 12 to 16 hours a day. My wife would get really mad when I got the job done. Then I started hiring people. Obviously, they couldn't work from my home. So I got myself a little 600 square foot shoebox. And then we grew to more people. And it was like everybody was sitting, rubbing elbows, making phone calls. Wow. And it just sounded like a call center. I didn't want that. But I couldn't afford, and I didn't want to take the chance of renting a much bigger office space until I knew that what I'm doing can be sustained, consistently generate the revenue that I'm aiming to generate. Truth be told, I still feel like an imposter sometimes. I just feel like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this? Can this be done for long term? And how long can I do this for? But I think everybody probably feels like that, right? You do something and you're not sure you're doing it right, but it works. And then you're still not sure if you're doing it right. But you continue doing it anyway because there's no other option. The next thing you got to do is you got to establish authority in your field. So, what was your name? Terrence. Terrence sent us a deal in Houston, which we are working to sell for him. He came and he said, what's up? He didn't know of me. He was very honest. I said, hey, I love it. You sent me some deals. But you sent me a deal. Please keep sending more. He said, well, wait, I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. perfect answer. That tells me I have more work to do in this market. But if you go to Houston and you ask somebody about Texas Land Exchange or Builders Land Source, they will tell you my name, they'll spell it for you. We've established authority in my market. That's my main market. I house out of there, my office out of there. We work in DFW as well. We do work in Phoenix and Scottsdale. Those my first markets. I've never been to Arizona. Actually, I've crossed the border at what is that dam in Vegas, right, Nevada? Like you cross the border and you say you're in Arizona and now you're in Nevada. I've done that, but I've actually never visited Arizona. But we've made a lot of money in Phoenix and Scottsdale completely virtually because of our brand presence there, the network, the relationship we had built. So establishing authority helps you in many, many ways. We did, I don't know, 60-ish deals last year, all wholesale, double closes. Half, a little more than half were JV deals. Deals people like Terrence sent to us. I mean, we had a lot more deals sent to us. By the time you filter through the ones that can actually work, the ones that are viable, the ones that have profit margin, there was about 34 deals we could get to closing that were partner deals. But guess what? My lead gen cost for those was nothing additional outside of what I do for marketing my brand anyway. I post on Facebook regularly. I have a website that gets maintained. It has the proper SEO done. And I go to events. I attend events. I shake people's hand. I give them my business card. I tell them what I do. And my brand does the rest. And guess what? Deals come in. Dollars come in. And I think a lot of that has happened because I've positioned myself as a subject matter expert in the infill space. I don't really do a whole lot of 50 acres, 20 acres, 200 acres. Not that I can. We have sold some large parcels as well. For that, you have Puneet right here. They'll do those large deals with you. But for me, the riches have always been in the niches. And I don't want to go wide, I want to go deep because my infill lots continue to generate money. I'm not saying you should jump into infill as well. Please don't. No, you can. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Please jump into infill. Send me those deals because we'll partner with you. We'll sell them. We'll both make money. But what I'm saying is, whatever your niche is, you can make a lot of money in your niche if you master it, if you learn it inside out, if you know everything about it. Brad touched on a few points. When you perform diligence, you need to know everything about it. It's not just about flood zone, shape, size, location. You got to understand much deeper things like deed restrictions, what can or cannot be done. He got stuck with 40 acres in Georgia, which was on paper seemed like a great deal. Had he been a large acre expert, he would have asked for the environmental studies first. He would have connected with Brian right here, and Brian would have said, "Hey, did you check the ESA? Was it? It's a brownfield site." But he's going to figure out a way. The expert that he is, he's going to figure out a way to make money on that. For me, every infill deal is very carefully judged. We perform 4 layers of diligence on every property. Viability, ownership. We'll look at evaluation, pricing, comps, active versus sold, the sell-through rates, days on market. Can I make money on this deal? And then if we can, we contract that property and we will do the 4th layer of diligence, which is the deep diligence. This is where we look at the survey, we'll look at the plaques, we'll look at deed restrictions, we'll get a title abstract and see what might be in the way of a smooth closing, what type of battles would we have to fight with the heirs, et cetera, et cetera. So for us to become a subject matter expert, and that's not all. DFW is very different from Houston. Is it, there's zoning here, right? There's residential, commercial. Houston doesn't have any zoning. So y'all know that? Houston has no zoning. That means you can do whatever you want with a piece of land, except Houston has deed restrictions. The communities have very strictly enforced deed restrictions, which will dictate what you can or cannot do with a specific parcel. Not only that, Houston also has their own planning and subdividing ordinance a part of what they call Chapter 42, which is a part of their planning and development code, which then tells you how big or small, how much frontage, where it must be located for you to be able to replat certain lots. Nick's a builder. Nick knows all about it. You'll buy an acre, you'll probably carve it into 4 to 6 to 8 lots. But in Houston, it's not that simple. You got to know the minimum square footage, the minimum building footprint, the setbacks. If it's a corner lot with 2 major thoroughfares, you're going to have the visibility triangle, which has you come back 25 feet from either side, making you lose substantial portion of your rear. It used to be you needed 50 feet of frontage to be able to split into 2 25-foot lots that you could put individual front loaders on. That's not the case anymore. Now you need 66 feet. And you can only have 33 feet wide resulting child parcels unless you want to do shared driveways. So there's a lot of information in your own particular field that you need to be familiar with so that you can really be a subject matter expert and mitigate that risk that comes with it. That 40 acres may not be the easiest to sell right now, but after knowing the expert that he is, once he rezones it for commercial, it might fly off the shelves, right? So there's risk involved. You can mitigate that risk by being a subject matter expert. Documenting your journey. So I don't do such a good job of it. Every now and then I do post about my wins and my losses as well. But I keep it like it is. Like we have had many months where we didn't close a single deal. Bad market, COVID, we just couldn't sell it. None of our builders were buying. We didn't have good deals in the pipeline. Sellers weren't selling. Market took a downturn. Sellers were stuck in the 6 months of low prices. And we locked up high. Sometimes we cannot move deals. But I've posted about that. I talked about that. And that's why people have been so open to working with us. Terrence is working with a great wholesaler, Max, who's actually in this picture right there behind my wife. He sends all his deals to us. He just sent us 64 acres in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it's nestled in an area where there's a lot of development. I helped him underwrite that deal. We accounted for development potential, how many lots can be carved based on how big neighboring development lots were, average price point of like the finished product. And turns out there's a massive upside there. So now my team is working on a JV agreement with him, finding big builders and buyers who could take that project on. Because God willing, if everything works out, there could be 300,000 to 500,000 in it for each of the partners involved, and there's 3 of us. It doesn't happen every day. It may not materialize, but the fact that somebody trusts me enough to send me deals like that, I think I'm doing something right. And then when I got started, I wasn't able to get on stage. I was a part of a community called Hiveline. That's how I learned about land or learned more about land. Great people. However, I did a lot of work in that community by answering other people's questions. So if I learned something, I shared with them. I would answer questions and it would make those people trust me that much more. They would come to me for guidance. I added value. And those guys wanted to do deals with me. They trusted me. And then also, there came a point where I saw people getting on stages that had no business getting on stages. Can you guess why? They weren't doing any deals. They were nothing but marketing. They had no HUDs. I knew this from inside sources. I know many people like that, but they're on some big time stages and they're expert at marketing. They'll interview some of the biggest names and become popular themselves. But when you actually look at what they know about land, how much business they're actually doing, how much money they're bringing in, sometimes, it's not what you see or what they allow you to see. So I wanted to build my own stage. I wanted to build a community where wholesalers can do great deals in partnership, ethically, and I could guide them on how you can structure your deals, keep it within the legal framework, follow the right guidelines, the right regulations. I'm a licensed agent as well, so I gotta protect my license as well. So naturally, I've been to school to get my license, invested time and money and energy into my education. So I built this community called the Texas Land Exchange. It's a free group on Facebook. You can join. Lots of deals get posted there. And you can find some great people to partner with over there too. And I've had 4 events so far in Houston. My very first event, I only had 25 people show up. I had one sponsor. That sponsor wrote me $100 check for sponsorship. And I bought beer with it. So I could have beer at the. I don't know if y'all, I love beer. I'm a beer guy. So I bought beer with it, and I offered beer to whoever was coming in. It was 25 people. And I found my highest performing team member from that meetup. He's still with me. It's been a year. His name's Courtney Mack. Some of you might know him. I had my second event. There was like 50 or 60 people there, 70 people there. Brad was a sponsor. Thank you, Brad. He was so gracious. I made one phone call. He sent money over. And I had 4 other sponsors. And people really loved the content because we weren't talking about how I bought a Lamborghini with my money that I didn't have. We were talking about doing the right deals with the right people, the right ways, and how not to do deals, how not to partner, how not to structure your deals so you don't leave enough money on the table, money in the deal. You don't leave enough time in your contract structure for deals to successfully close. We were actually teaching a lot of things to these people. My third event was held at a restaurant called Haywire in Memorial in Houston. There was not even standing room. There were some big names that wanted to attend, and I had to turn people down because there was a restriction on how many people we could hold. I'm not talking thousands. It was like over 100 people, but I couldn't, the capacity was only like 80 people. The restaurant allowed us to have an extra 20 people standing up, but people really loved it, and they gave me great testimonials. I just got some reviews back. Logan gave me some feedback. Brad gave me some feedback from my last event. My last event, there was 200 people. There was attorneys on stage, title officers on stage. There were several builders in attendance. I didn't invite them. I mean, I invited the attorneys, of course. They were sponsors. But I didn't invite the builders or developers. They heard of who we were. They saw my marketing. They saw our website. Some of them have done deals with us. And there were several builders in the audience that people connected with and found buyers for their deals at my event. So establishing yourself as an authority, having the right brand can do so much for you. Majority of land wholesalers fail because they cannot sell their deals. Acquisition isn't hard. I mean, it's not the easiest, but you can learn how to negotiate, how to make offers, how to evaluate. But selling your deals is where the money is made. Yes, you have to lock it up right. So they do say you make money when you buy, of course. But if you're locked up right, but you cannot find a buyer, you're not making any money. So learning this position, partnering with the right people, having a brand has helped me find buyers, builders, developers. I have deals that I don't understand. Honestly, I need to send them to Nick because he's a builder. He's done lots of big development subdivides. Some of those, I still don't understand the performance. I'm learning too. But they're being sent. It's just a matter of me connecting with the right people. And guess what? I just said 2 weeks from now, I have a sit down with a massive private equity firm that had interviewed me, brought me in. They might be buyers for those deals. So now I have a pipeline full of good deals, potentially good deals that I cannot move now. But thanks to my brand, I might have some buyers in 2 weeks. This is what my website looks like. It's a basic website at a first glance. But like I said, I have big orange buttons for all the important stuff. We've done the right SEO. We've got the right target keywords. We post some blog posts, some relevant content that helps keep our website fresh for crawlers. So it ranks. It's not like the highest ranking website, but if you look for Houston land acquisition, buy, sell land, Houston, my website should come up on the first page. I hope, I think. And then we have the right forms for every type of target audience. I have a form for builders, for JV partners, for sellers, another one for end buyers. And we make sure every information on our website is current, licensing, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses. Anything changes, we update it on the website. If y'all want to check out my website, it's called builderslandsource.com. So what do you get from branding? If you haven't already guessed, you get a lot of inbound buyer leads. My phone's recording, but I'm going to show you later. We get text message notifications every time a builder or buyer visits my website, fills the information out, and we get a buyer criteria sent to our CRM. Go High Level is amazing. It sends me a text notification with the builder's name, phone number, email, and their criteria, and it says, please reach back out. And I automatically send an email to them saying, thanks, we're going to work on this. Somebody from my team will give you a call after we've reviewed this. So we get inbound buyer leads. It's not like, a waterfall of leads, but they're trickling in. That means people are visiting my website, taking the time to fill this out. That means they're taking us seriously. And we get sent hundreds. When I say hundreds, I really mean hundreds. I must have evaluated over 200 or 300 JV leads and deals last year. Easy. Among hundreds of our own leads that we generate. We were talking about VAs. I have Nicaraguan VAs. If anybody wants the best VAs, I've trained them myself. And they're generating 2 to 8 leads a day on cold calling each person. Very inexpensive. No contracts, month to month. You can talk to me after. But they're amazing. And then we're getting lots of partnership opportunities on development deals. People are coming to us and say, bring me large acreage. If we buy it, we'll pay you a finder's fee, we'll pay you a wholesale fee, but we'll also be open to bringing you in as an equity partner. So when the project completes, you can have 4, 5, or 10% of our profit. So I'll get to make money when they buy that land or put that land under contract, depending on how my agreement's written with them. They'll work on that deal for their 6, 12, 18 months. When their finished product's ready to hit the market, when they sell that deal, I may have equity waiting there for me. This is my long-term play. Puneet and I had a conversation. He's holding notes. I'm betting on some of these deals to pay me in the next 12, 18 months. It opens doors. Like I just talked to, this private equity firm. It felt like a job interview. They asked me everything about my business. They wanted to know how I underwrite deals, what software I use, what does my team look like, how do we go about our business, how do we partner with people. It was crazy, but it opened doors. And a lot of times, your reputation precedes your introduction. I've been to so many events now. People have come up and said, somebody told me this today, I saw you on a podcast. Ryan, I had people calling my office because they saw me on a podcast and they called to send a deal over. And I got on the phone after my assistant answered. I wanted to explain something to that person who called. And she was fangirling. She was like, oh my God, I just saw you on this podcast. I can't believe I'm talking to you. That was special. I've never had a fan before. But having this type of branding will really just put you out in front of people. You may not know them, but they might know you. And this is it's an amazing feeling. This is the first time I feel like somebody knows me. So here's a little bit of a pitch. I know it can be overwhelming. You guys are all in the land business. You've probably done some branding yourself. But if anybody needs some help, I'm putting together this guide everything that I've done over the last 12 months that has helped me put my brand in the mainstream. That guide's going to be available on my website for sale. This is what it does. It helps you set up your LLC, the DBA. Instead of you wasting money on going through attorneys or LegalZoom, I'll show you how you can do it yourself for the cheapest amount possible. Basically, whatever the Secretary of State charges you is what you'll pay. The forms are super simple to fill out. How do you create your logos? What software you can use? What to outsource? How you get your domain name. So this is a stroke of luck. I call it luck, but maybe it was meant to happen. I also own another company called School of Sharks. And Puneet met me at my School of Sharks event 2 years ago in Dallas. We hosted an event, and I met a lot of great people. And they paid a lot of money to come there to have dinner with us. I never knew that was possible for someone to pay five, six, $700 to come have dinner with me. But a lot of people did, and I hope it was worth it. I hope you met some good people there. So when I was forming School of Sharks, it was just an idea. But that idea was meant to be because the domain name was available, the DBA was available, the Instagram handles were available, the Facebook group name was available. We locked it up immediately. When I thought of Builders Land Source, I don't know how that happened. I was driving home, I was exhausted, I wasn't getting anywhere. Then I realized who, what, how, and Builders Land Source. Immediately in my car, I opened up the Secretary of State, ionos.com for domain, and I didn't even get home. I pulled over to register the domain to get my DBA. And sure, the Instagram handle was available, the Facebook business page was available, so I locked it up. It was just maybe a stroke of luck, maybe it was meant to happen. So I go over like all of these things, every little thing that we've done, including the groups that I've created, how I grew those groups. One of my groups, Texas Land Exchange, has like 8,500 members in it right now. Not the biggest group out there, but it's active. There's deals being posted there every day. How do you create authority in your domain? Online communities. This is all the first, the first few or most of these bullet points can be done with no money, almost no money. But as you grow, as your brand goes to work for you, as you start getting revenue, you don't want to just try to save money on marketing. I spend a significant amount every month on branding now, on marketing now. That banner, that Texas Land Exchange banner that you saw alone was like $1,300. But we needed it for the event, and that's going to be reused. Those vertical banners are like $200, $300 a pop. Those flyers we print and mail out in full color glossy paper, that can cost up to like 80 cents to $1 a piece, plus the postage, plus. What I'm saying is there's paid premium marketing avenues that you cannot ignore for your brand to even go to the next level. So I just wanted to do this. This is a guide. If anybody wants it, I wanted to offer this half price for just $99. You don't have to buy it. I'm sure you can figure this out. But this will give you a blueprint, a checklist of everything that I did that helped me grow and, be able to provide for my family. And I'm starting a community. I got this idea from Max. Max is doing a great job of teaching people. And I'm here to teach anybody that wants to get into land, who hasn't been doing land yet or is struggling with it. You'll get access to my own boot camp. I record everything that I do because I have a team. I have to teach my team anyway. So I create a lot of Loom videos. So if I'm underwriting a deal, if I'm writing a contract, filling out a termination, an amendment, an addendum, anything that I'm doing, research, comping, building spreadsheets, I record it all. And I have them as Loom videos with AI summaries at the end. You'll get access to that as well. How do you fill out track contracts? The deep dive into my diligence process. And I will also get you all the skip trace data. I'm going to show you one most important thing. Yes, we will guide you through the process. We'll help you write the offer, negotiate with the sellers. We'll get the contracts, and we'll help sell the deal. All you have to do is what Greg, is what Greg's doing right now. What are you doing, Greg? Tell everybody.
Technology. Right? So the first solution traffic was nice, right? I'm doing about a 7-fold rating, getting traffic from about 1 completion of everything. Getting about 4 weeks daily. The other thing, I'm not moving, well, now, the one guy, and say the guy, keeping basketball inside of the with the bad thing, they maybe will chase. So they are around from 50 to 70 homes, getting ready for creating 5 homes, 5 weeks, and basically coming around like a month. So 2 weeks of the month.
Amazing. This guy is on his phone without any fancy software, with probably just a spreadsheet,
Well,
dialing.
the way I work in the tire shop,
He works at a tire shop full time.
and from 8:30 to 5:30, and the only thing that I did time on that I was reading is no more. On like 9 to 11, then 3 to 5, I will lay down and then I will go to wake up. So the 2 o'clock, the 5 o'clock, they'll go on the best time. Like the boy, get time to wake up. So I'm trying to clean the best that I can do. That way, thank you, man. And, and everybody can do another.
The most important part is he's determined, he has grit, and he's finding ways to make it happen, right? If you're that type of a person, I'll give you everything else you need to generate leads, do those deals. We'll underwrite, we'll make the offers, we'll contract, and we will both make money together. I'll provide all the skip tracing, the data, underwriting help. I even have built a calculator that'll help you learn how to comp these deals. I have a private group you can be a part of. It's just people posting accountability stuff, all the templates you need. And most importantly, my wife's built a software we call the Crystal Ball, which takes MLS data from all the major metros, and it gives us some analytics that just aren't available out there easily. We know exactly where development's going on. You said, call the counties and ask them what's the next development, right? Well, we can see that in Crystal Ball. We know which zip codes are hot for what type of parcel, what size of parcel, how long ago were they sold, what the sell-through rates are, what are the hottest areas for half an acre, for under half an acre, for half to 1 acre. Not only that, we also know from Crystal Ball who the builders are that are building in those areas, so I can sell those parcels that you guys lock up to those builders easily. If I don't already have a connection, I've got the Crystal Ball. And we update this for DFW, Houston, Pinal and Maricopa counties in Arizona right now. And we're going to add San Antonio and Austin pretty soon because I have MLS access. I'm licensed. It's a lot of work, but that work brings a lot of visibility and a lot of, almost a guarantee that deals sourced in those areas, it also gives me pricing trends. So you're not just going to lock up stuff and hope that it's a good price. We'll have that information for you already. So you lock up at the right price. I already know who the buyers are. We know where the zip codes are. We know what are the areas that have low days on market. It's just a matter of somebody like Greg willing to put in the work. I'll provide the infrastructure, the intelligence, the guidance. It's a free program, but I want $500 so you show up. And I'll pay you that back when you do the deal with me. You'll get your split and your $500 back. And I want you to pay me $50 a month so you keep showing up. And when you do your deal, you don't have to pay me $50. I don't even want $50, but I've thrown enough events to know that people do not respect free. Free is useless. If you pay, you're bound to do the work. You're bound to show up. And I'll give you all your money back if you do the work and bring us some deals. So anybody interested, come talk to me. I'll get you started. And send me your infill deals. This is a QR code that'll take you to our submission portal, our partner portal. If you have infill deals in any of these areas, we can sell them. And we can make money together. Okay? That's it, guys. Connect with me. This is my office address. Houston and San Antonio phone numbers. My 2 websites. This is how you can join my group. And that QR code that's fuzzy, that's how you can connect with me on Instagram. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I either was nobody paid attention, or I was so good at this that nobody has any questions. Come on. So I have a QR code. I can show you the QR code. You purchase it. It's gonna. It's a work in progress. It's almost done. I'm aiming to bring that live and release to the public on Sunday. More than likely Sunday. If you buy it right now, you get it for half off. You'll get an email with a link to log in and access it on my portal. It's going to be behind, a credential-based website, landexchange.info. But if you check out now, I'll have your information and we'll send you the link and your credentials when it's ready for you. Sunday evening, most likely. Yeah, come and talk to me. I'll show you the QR code and you can check out. Not yet. The answer is not yet. The reason I'll tell you why. Oh, go ahead. Great question. Great question. um, this business, just majority of the land investors think land business is around learning about land. How do you acquire it? What script do you follow? How do you evaluate it? How do you perform your diligence? What percentage of retail to buy it at? How do you write the contract? I want to say that's just about 30 to 50% of the business. The other big piece of your business is exactly what you mentioned. So we approach finding buyers, finding builders like its own massive business. We're prospecting for builders relentlessly like we prospect sellers. I have a list of like 5,000 or 6,000 builders in the state of Texas. So the software you were talking about, before AI was a thing, I was scraping data. I joined builders associations. I got data from them. I went to outscraper.io, got their service from AppSumo for $99 for life, and I scraped data from it regular. We built our list. I have VAs cleaning that builder list and completing any missing information. I have 4 guys that call builders a couple of hours every day, aiming to connect with 1 to 3 vetted builder leads every single day. So the answer is it takes a lot of work to create that buyer base. There's software out there we use as well. Investorbase.com is one. There's a new software, Disco Genius, the gentleman presented at my event. We're planning to buy that as well. But the short answer is acquisition is such a small piece of your business. If you want to make money, you got to run disposition as if that was your primary business. You're prospecting with VAs, you're prospecting yourself, you're calling. If they can't get the job done, you as the main person in the company that understands it better than anybody else has to hop on the phone, call them, show up. I've been to so many builder events, I blow money to get in front of builders. I did not. You see my car? I love the way it looks now, but I hadn't envisioned putting my branding on my car. I just wanted it to be my private car where nobody knows I'm driving. Because sometimes I cut people off wrong, and they have my company website. Somebody left me a one-star review on Google recently because they said I cut them off. Imagine that. I reported the comment or the review to Google because it didn't pertain to my business. She called me a jackass and she said you weren't driving right or whatever. Google removed that review. But what I'm saying is, I can't even drive it like I stole it. So I have to be on my best behavior because my brand is on it, right? So short answer, that was a long answer. Short answer is, you got to work at finding buyers, builders. Your brand does that job for you. Those leads trickle in now from my website. In that guide, he's wanting to get. I'm gonna talk about all the different things we do. So I have this software called, it's an SMTP relay called just like Mailgun. AppSumo had a deal on Email It, which is another Mailgun clone. I've got that integrated into my Go High Level. And I have thousands of emails. I'm seasoning my account to send automated emails, slowly ramped up every day to builders. I have templates for all of that. I have follow-up templates. I have code templates. I'm an engineer. Like I built this thing. I spent the last 2 years building this thing. So yes, we're emailing, we're calling, we're texting the builders that we've already now got in touch with to send them deals. I told you we're printing flyers and mailing flyers to builders. We go to so many builder events to shake hands. I print my business card that I showed you. I print those by like 500 at a time, and I run out because I give them out so much. I carry them everywhere. They're in my little fanny pack. They're in my wallet. They're in my car. They're in my truck. My wife carries them too. So meeting builders, and I put I don't know if you can see this. I put a little QR code on my car. That QR code takes people to join our builder network, but it's a separate page that I track to see how much marketing is my branding bringing me, how many clicks, how many visits, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm tracking things that hopefully are taking me in the right direction too. So yes, finding buyers is like it's full-time business that you have to run with intent. And that guide's going to go over all the different things that we do to connect with builders as well. It's the hardest. Let me tell you, that is the hardest part of this business is connecting with buyers. In 2022, 5 builders bought 80% of all my deals in Arizona. I don't want to say the number, but it was a big number approaching 7 figures that we made from just 5 builders buying info lots from us. All of them. My job has now become primarily connecting and networking. I just came back from Vegas. They had the largest home builder expo there, the International Builders Show or something, IBS. There was like 100,000 people there. And a significant portion of them were people that worked for builders, developers. Overwhelming. I didn't expect that. I had no idea what to do there. My wife and I went there. The first day we walked around, we were so tired, we didn't even go the second day. It was crazy. Like, I haven't reached that level yet. I wasn't prepared. But I go to a lot of local events. GHBA, I'm a member. They charge $800 a year just to be a member. And then for every event you want to attend, they charge you a freaking $50 or $100 fee to go to that event. But you know the benefits you get? My company's name is in the NAHB's directory. So if there's ever any event and I go to register for it, all of my information is already there. So if anybody's looking for land acquisition people, wholesalers, they have my information in their directory also. And I can use their directory to find a list of builders for myself too. Anybody else? You have my number? Go to my website, partner with us form, just email me. Send them to me. I'll find them. I have a massive network of people like you now too. So if I don't have it, I can't find it right away. I can put the word out. Somebody finds it. We vet the partners. You know, I've lost some builder connections because of some bad JV partners that did unethical stuff on their part. And there was a big lesson learned for us. So I don't just underwrite deals. I'll underwrite people now to make sure they're worth partnering with also. So if you're legitimate, you understand what you're doing, your paper is worth it. You understand promulgated contracts where you got enough diligence period. You've put some money down for your option fees and maybe even hopefully for earnest money as well. I'll do deals with you. But if you're putting $0 for option, $10 for DMD, and your diligence period is 4 days and it needs to close in 2 weeks, I can't make that happen. Right? I'm not. One of my friends calls himself the man Jesus, and he can make it happen. Any other questions? So let me tell you, we're consistently closing in a turbulent market, bad market, 4 to 5 deals a month. Some months we've gone as much as 10 deals a month. The average in 2022, my average profit margin per deal was 27,000 on average. It has since dropped to about 17. The market has changed significantly. But we also haven't been aggressively doing lead gen since A2P 10 DLC kind of died or the new regulations came on. Uh, we're very reliant on partner deals now. Our marketing is doing its job and sending deals in. But we have some major on my roadmap because I'm the visionary in the company. My roadmap this year, in the next 4 months, there's a minimum threshold for like 10 to 12 deals a month. And we've put in the groundwork now that's going to make that happen pretty consistently. We have the highest, best quality data, the best quality skip tracing. We have significantly better trained VAs now. We have cold calling platforms. We're switching texting platforms from Twilio to TextGrid, integrating into our Go High level. So hopefully we can start texting at high volume again. I have a machine in my office that forwards letters. I print mailers. I have a massive printer in my office. I print my own mailers to keep costs low. We have a paper folder. It does a trifold. We have these window envelopes that they fit perfectly in. My assistant and the team helps to stuff those envelopes. We buy stamps in bulk. And then we have mail days. It's a lot of fun. I bring pizza. I keep a lot of beer at my office. We all send mailers out. So to answer your question, there's big things hopefully coming. We've also started branching out. Now that we know infill, I said, I don't want to branch into something bigger until I've mastered this one thing. And I feel like I finally got a good handle on infill. My blueprint, I can take it into any new market and join my machine to it and start generating good contracts. And then finding buyers in the market is going to be the challenge for us, right? But now we were talking about this earlier. We're starting to look at commercial deals. We've got some amazing commercial lots locked up now. The potential is big on those. We're looking to subscribe to CoStar so we can now have a little bit better visibility into commercial buyers, evaluation. Commercial is its own beast, but the upside is there too. It's $500 a month to get a subscription for CoStar. It's not cheap. But I subscribe to more expensive software already. We've written some expensive software in-house. It's growing. The cool thing, let me tell you, this isn't scripted or anything. This isn't from the presentation. The cool thing about this business, anyone that's starting, let's say at Greg's level, if you do this and you stick with it, it's amazing. The next step, the next level automatically reveals itself in time if you do this right. So we're being pushed with the commercial automatically because those deals are falling into our laps now. Some people are reaching out saying, I've got a buyer that wants to build flex space. They want to build some type of commercial structure on it. Can you help us find this thing? I wasn't asking for it. It's taking me in that direction. We have people sending us lots of paper lots and title lots. I don't have buyers for them yet. You asked about K-Hove. I got a phone call from a K-Hove rep the other day, and I explained to him why I don't deal with these big box buyers, builders, because we've been screwed over before. And the timeline is so long, they'll wait out their contract to get you out of that deal and then go around you at the end. So I didn't have the means to an attorney back then. I have the best fucking attorneys now. We're writing NDAs, we're writing some consulting agreements that protect us for 36 months after they sign the NDA. If they go around me, they still owe me 20% of that deal. So what I'm saying is, once you do this and you do this like there's nothing else for you to do, the next step just reveals itself. It's amazing. Well, thank you for having me. I hope this was helpful. Appreciate your time, guys.